Want to congratulate Ollie Howie, who is the new owner of the Roanoke Rambler. So we want to I don't think he's here today, but we're going to congratulate him anyway. And nice to have so many guests with us today, including past president Rupert Cutler and his wife Brenda McDaniel. We're going to be passing a card around for Nancy Horn. She lost her sister, Faye, on Monday. So we'll be passing a card. Our introspection today and our Pledge of Allegiance is by John Montgomery.
Thank you, President Joyce. Haven't seen you in a while. When I was asked to do the introspection today, I thought of different sources I might draw upon, and it reminded me that I came to Kiwanis as a speechwriter. I worked for the city, helped David Bowers in two of his terms as mayor of the city of Roanoke. And when I was doing that, David particularly liked to quote different people that had inspirational thoughts. So I bought a lot of books during that time that I could use for preparing speeches, and I thought, why not draw on one of those today? And the book that I'm choosing from is called Timeless Wisdom, a Treasury of Universal Truths. And it's broken up into vignettes, and I actually scanned the entire book this morning and chose three little paragraphs, perhaps sentences, if you will, that I thought could serve as an inspirational introspection today. How will you ever know if you can paint the picture, if you can run the business, if you can sell that vacuum cleaner or pancake tickets, if you can earn that degree, if you can hold that office, if you can make that speech, if you can win that game, marry that girl, write that book, bake that souffle, build that house, unless you try it. The second thought comes from Og Mandino, a motivational speaker of the past. This thought sticks with me. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. And it gets serious after that. Extend to them all the care, kindness, and understanding you can muster. And do that with no thought of any reward. If you follow that advice, your life will never be the same again. And finally, what I felt one of the three best thoughts in perhaps 600 that are in this book. It's a Chinese proverb. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a month, get married. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. But if you want happiness for a lifetime, help others. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, and with liberty and justice.
I'd like to call Pegram Johnson to introduce our guests.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm pleased to say that we have 8 guests with us today, and I'm going to ask if those guests would stand when I call their names along with their Kiwanis host. And I'm going to start with the first one to arrive, which was Kay Dunkley, right over here. And Joyce Waugh is her host. Joyce, we get you to stand up too. Part of the drill. Okay, Jack Phillips, who is right here, is with Smith Mountain Lake Center, and Chris Rouse, who I don't know is here.
He's not.
He's not okay, but anyway, invited Jack to come. And let's see, there's several others that he invited. One is um, Ben Baird. No, I'm sorry, is Jerry Hale is one of Chris's guests. So Jerry Hale back here, and Jack, and maybe that's all. Now, Everett Wernes is here. Ev Wernes with his wife Andre, who we see weekly. Here's Ev right over here. Sarah Goodwin is here as a guest of Joyce Waugh also. Brenda McDaniel, where's Brenda, is here with Rue, right here in the front. Ben Baird is over here. He's the husband of Jean Bolidar. And I said Jerry Hale. And Tim Gardner is the husband of our speaker, Vicki. So welcome to all of you. Come back soon.
Okay, we are ready for our KPAD report. So, Jeff, would you like to fill us in?
I'm still trying to conjure up that great JC Taylor walk, but I keep failing. I'm sorry, JC, you're going to get a complex. We keep teasing you about that. Anyway, I'm very excited to talk to you about a couple of things this week. First of all, there we go. First of all, we need to realize that we're in the seventh inning stretch. We're getting to the point where we're getting closer and closer to KPAD, and we need to do a magic trick. I'm going to do one for you today. So we know what these are. We've all seen these. We need to make these disappear, right? So we're going to take these tickets and we're going to make them disappear into the hands. These are going to the firefighters of Roanoke. They're already bought and paid for. And boom, there's your magic trick. They've just disappeared. We need to do more of that. And we need to, as a club, come together and really take that seventh inning stretch. So there's a couple of things that I'll get to during the announcement. But first, I wanted to talk about a couple of incentives. First of all, thank you to Amy Carter for getting a set of swag together from the Roanoke Ridgejacks. Now, this is Red Sox swag, so it's going to be at a premium. So I know that John's going to be lining up to bet. We're going to have a drawing for everybody that sells $400 worth of tickets or more. Their name goes into the hat. And if they win, they get this bag of Red Sox Ridgejack swag. So that's wonderful. Thank you very much to Amy for organizing that. Thank you very much. And I just wanted, since David is not here, I wanted to share with you a commemorative KPAD jersey that Amy has arranged for him. It's embroidered and very nice for our KPAD chairman. And again, thank you very much. Oh, there we go. And thank you very much for that, Amy. So let's go on to the results. I know that's what you're waiting for. Let's go to the next slide, please. Again, we're going to look at where the teams are in comparison to the pennant race. Then we're going to do the home run derby. Next slide, please. Next slide. Here we go. Here are the pennant standings. We have a three-way tie, ladies and gentlemen, which is fantastic. So coming from a bit behind, Scott Smith has brought his team up quite significantly to where they won this last week's ticket sales contribution. But he's in a dead heat for first with Steve English's cleanup batters and with Reef Kessler's Sausage Swatters. So that's awesome. I have hats for each of those teams for you to do with as you like. Distribute them among your team members. And let's get lots of K-Pad hats out there on the street so we can talk to people about it. Next slide, please. Here's our leading sluggers. So the Babe, Rube Cutler, remains in the league. And I've renamed that first top group the League of Their Own because those 5 individuals have donated $7,800 or sold that number of tickets. Joe Lemmer has recently joined the League of Our Own by increasing his ticket sales up to a total of 1,000. So that's pretty awesome. I want to point out some of our sluggers as well. So Bob Rutherford got on the board this past week, and Vern Danielson and Amy Carter increased their ticket sales. And there are others who are really on the close of joining the League of their own, in Sherry Hartman, Andy Stone, Randy Myers, and et cetera. You'll notice on the way in there were Carpenter Bee traps that when you purchase, that's $10 for each trap that goes to K-Pad. So do look at that on your way out. That's a way to help us get there. Then we also have our designated hitters. This group grows and grows and grows. These are people who have contributed $400 or more or sold that many in terms of tickets and now have entered the lottery for the swag bag. So that's fantastic. Also, this is very exciting. In terms of the zero tracker, we're down from 78 zeros to 72 as it stood over the weekend. And the best team for no zeros was Mike Franzise's team of the Maple All-Stars. Congratulations. But it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. As of today, Mike Franzise's team has cleared the zero barrier, and there are no zeros remaining on Mike Franzise's team. It is very powerful what even a $100 donation does. If everybody on every team were to do even a couple of tickets, if they're in hard times, that would be amazing. But Mike has set the standard, and next week, and Steve's team and Reef's team are close behind them, and I'm hoping that we can get others to get to no zeros. Next slide, please. All right. In terms of the home run derby, Reef Kessler Sausage Swatters remains in the lead, but I want to point something out. That's awesome. As of the weekend, there's $8,135 worth of ticket sales on the Sausage Swatters, 3,500 of which were down to Babe Rupp. So Babe is not only leading in terms of home runs, he's helping his team get across the line. But even without and so there is actually a hat for Babe Rupp. I think he's already got one, but I'm going to share that with his team so that his team can share in that great victory. We can look at the other teams. Mike Franzise's team after last week has really built up steam and is now up to 5,310. Ali actually is up to 3,267. Scott came on hard, as I said earlier, and he's challenging Steve for third place in terms of sales. And we're working with Milton Hardy to get his team together and get rid of the zeros that are on that board. So that is fantastic. This Reef Kessler still, his team, the Sausage Swatters, are still in first place on the home run derby. Let's have a round of applause for those Sausage Swatters. Next slide, please. The summary of overall ticket sales. Where are we after week 6, Mike? Week 6 total, we raised $4,326, and it wasn't our best week so far, but total for up to today is, Mike, $29,208, and we're moving into the home stretch. Our goal for next week, let's reduce those zeros in terms of contributions and sales by members by 25%. Although Mike has already accounted for 9 out of those 18 new donors, let's go ahead and shoot for 18 new donors and new ticket sales people to be on the board. Let's get out there and call our team members and energize them to just get off the zero board. According to John, we had a great turn in today. We'll have those results for you later. And throughout the meeting, I will have the minor prizes for each category to pass around, which are vintage baseball cards and Big League Chew, which I know is hugely popular. In any case, let's get out there and sell tickets, folks. Let's donate. Let's get people to buy tickets. If you want to just donate a little bit and get some tickets to give to your family, let's do that. Let's give tickets to emergency room workers. I know that Lee Lehrman has donated his tickets to police officers. And I know Melissa has donated some tickets to her people over at Ram House, or will shortly. So let's get out there and find any excuse to sell a pancake ticket. Thank you very much.
Those tickets are great. The money coming in is great. We're going to have to cook pancakes and cook sausage for those ticket holders. And volunteers are, slowly signing up. But a lot of people I talked today said, "Oh, I haven't done it yet." We need it. It's less than 3 weeks from now. So, in the newsletter yesterday, there was a button to click, and you could sign up. If you need help, I'll stick around and help you sign up, even Jim Randall's. Okay. And Eddie Barnes said, I was talking to Eddie Barnes, our longtime member, and he said, "What's the matter with them?" So let's get signed up here. I really need you. We got key clubbers coming. We got people from Roanoke College coming. We got some Boy Scouts coming. Listen, if you have a neighbor, a friend, a relative that wants to help out, sign them up also. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. I know we're all going to work. We always do, but Harry needs that on his schedule so that he can do what he needs to do. So if you would please try to sign up, use the QR. If not, tell Harry and Harry will sign you up. We need your name on the paper. So think about it. And if you haven't signed up, let's sign up. All right, we have announcements. Rita Joyce, would you like to come and make an announcement? Our prayer breakfast is coming up.
Good afternoon. I am here to talk about our National Day of Prayer Breakfast, which will be on May 7th. That's 4 weeks from tomorrow. Somebody say 4 weeks. For over 15 years, our Kiwanis Club has attempted to bring together different faith traditions for a time of fellowship and prayer. Now, I know, not getting political or anything, but the environment that the world is in now, if we don't need nothing else, we need prayer. Amen. This year, we'll again be at the Gazine Shrine Temple on West Campbell Avenue. Amy and Lee, favorite people here, they will provide our buffet breakfast starting at 7 a.m. The program is planned from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. We got a great theme this year. It is bridging cultures through prayer. How about that? Bridging cultures through prayer. The morning meditation will be delivered by our very own Reverend Joe Cobb. Prayers will be offered in the Muslim, Jewish, and the Christian traditions. Tickets are $10. Somebody say $10. All right. Treasure John can bill Kiwanians for the tickets that you purchase for you and your guests. Reservations can also be made by contacting myself or my best friend over there, Ken Briggs. We'll plan to be at the KPAD table in the foyer after today's meeting and each Wednesday meeting in the month of April. 4 weeks from now, let's get together and enjoy National Prayer Breakfast. Thank you.
Also, we have a KPAD meeting immediately after the meeting today. I heard it would be short. That is short. I could make it. Officers meeting tomorrow at 10:30, and then board meeting is Monday at noon. Nature Park Committee meet Monday at 4 p.m. at Melrose Library. Book Club meets next Wednesday at 5:30 at Crystal Spring Grocery Store. Fred, would you like to come and make an announcement about the Blue Ridge Marathon? Great.
Thank you, President Joyce. Good news on the marathon. We needed 15 signups for volunteers, and we're at 17. So that's great. There's going to be an information email coming either from me or from the Blue Ridge Marathon point of contact in the coming days. The folks that are signed up for something other than our aid station on Roanoke Mountain, you'll hear directly from Kat Andrew. That's her name. If we get 3 more, so we're at 17, and we receive a $500 stipend at 15 volunteers. So we're currently at 17. If we get 3 more and hit 20, we get another $250. So she told me that this morning. So if any of you are interested in either a second shift, doing something basically from Thursday all the way through Sunday, or on Saturday, the day of the marathon, Saturday, April 18th. Come see me. I can sign you up. I can send you the link so you can sign up yourself. But just let me know if there's any questions. And thanks again for everybody's support signing up.
Earth Day, we're going to have a booth. Well, I think it's more like a table on Grandin Road Village. We did this last year, and Sherry Hartman's sort of in charge, and I think she's going to be asking for some volunteers. We have it on here to keep on your calendar, April the 18th for the Grandin Road Earth Day. Reef, would you like to come up? And there you are, and speak on Fishing Day.
Good afternoon, all. Today I'm a stand-in for Bob Rutherford. I do this with some regularity that I'm up here as Reef, but not really Reef. Anyway, Bob's not here today and asked me to make an announcement about Kids Fishing Day, which is on May 16th. I know many of you have volunteered for this event before. I hope many of you, and Bob really hopes many of you, will volunteer again this year. There's a variety of things that you can do, but the most fun thing to do is to help one of these youngsters try to catch fish. Most of the youngsters who come to this event live in the inner city of Roanoke. The majority of them have never even tried to catch a fish. It's really fun to watch them pull a fish out of the pond over there at Hope Tree. This is another one of the events that Joyce has promoted during the year. It requires no real skill. You don't have to get up in front of a crowd and say anything. You don't have to bring any props with you. All you need to do is obligate yourself for about 4 or 5 hours on one Saturday morning to be out in the community and to help serve the children of Roanoke. So, the sign-up sheet on each table. I'll be glad to report to Bob that a bunch of people signed up today. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you out at Hope Tree on May 16th.
My name is already on the list. Sign up. If I can do it, you can do it. All right. Okay. Request. This is something for you to be thinking about. Or you can jump up and say, I'll do it. But our Don Witt has taken another position in our Kiwanis Club. And so he's going to have to give up taking pictures. And so we're looking for a replacement for Don Witt, who takes the pictures during the meeting and then sends them to Alex. Not hard, right, Don? Not hard. So we're going to be looking for a volunteer who would like to help us take pictures. The sooner the better, I was told. So if anybody would like to take that on, that would be great. All right, brag butts. We have a few moments for brags. I know Rupert wants to brag, and if anyone else would like to, please come forward. For $2, you can brag on anything you would like. So, and that money goes to our foundation.
This isn't quite a brag, but it is a reminder that we're going to continue on May 7th, that Kiwanis is going to be at the ballpark singing the national anthem. We'd love for you to sign up and join us that day. We can go from the pancake breakfast, take a little break, and then meet at the ballpark at 6 o'clock. Andre, do we have sign-up sheets on the table? Or we will next week? Next week, we'll have sign-up sheets. We'd love to see you out there. It's a lot of fun. And Don Wilson has offered his suite that we can go up there and relax and have a great time.
I'm Jack Phillips, head of the board of directors for the Smith Mountain Lake Center, and I want to brag on our board of directors. We have a very tough task in a short time to do it. We were presented recently with an offer from the Willard companies to buy the Westlake Cinema and turn it into a community center. And we've got to have this done by the end of June. So we've got to raise 1.35 million by the end of June. We're on our way for that. We've got about $372,000 raised so far, and we've got a number of initiatives going on with some grants and some family foundations that should net us another 800,000 or so. But we still will be short of the goal to purchase the cinema, and if we don't buy it, they're just going to shut it down and turn it into retail space. So we're trying to create a center that would allow us to have space for education, for entertainment, and for events. And so any help that you can give, if any of you live or have a home in the Smith Mountain Lake area and would like to see this initiative move forward, we welcome your support. Thank you.
Drew Cutler here. You may have noticed that Brenda and I wore maize and blue today. I invite you to join me in singing one chorus of Hail to the Victors. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the champions of the United States of America.
I do one.
Certainly.
I'm Jerry Hale with the entourage from Smith Mountain Lake. The fact that Jack Phillips forgot to mention this has cost me $2. On your tables and also as you go out is the latest issue of the Smith Mountain Lake Insider's Guide. It's a really nice way to sort of see what's going on out there. Particularly, this issue has a 60-year retrospective of what's happened each decade at Smith Mountain Lake since it was full pond 60 years ago. And also in there is an article with Jack's picture that tells you in detail what's going on with this Smith Mountain Lake Center project. So take one of these home and read about it. And You can go online and get all the details of what we're doing and how you can help. And thank you. Was that worth $2, Jack? Where'd he go?
So, Mike McAvoy, and my brag is somewhat on Michigan, but it's really on Rupert Cutler. When I was up here bragging about the Gators about a month ago, um, Rupert he was online and he had sent me a chat saying, "Hey, what about Michigan?" And I said, "Oh, it's never going to happen. They're never going to make the Final Four." So, Rupert, congratulations. So,
Where is the card before we start? Does anybody know where the card is? Do you have it? Is it has it been around? Are you the end? Okay. All right. We just want to be sure we know where the card is. Now, I would like to have a Joyce Wall. You think I can remember Joyce, wouldn't you? Um, come up to introduce our speaker today, Vicki Gardner.
Thank you, Joyce. It's really a privilege for me to be here to introduce Vicki Gardner. Reef, you did a really nice job in the newsletter, and I won't repeat all that. But in addition to all those accolades and superlatives from, entrepreneur, visionary leader, and all of those other good things, I actually had the opportunity to work with Vicki during her 17 years with the Greater Smith Mountain Lake Chamber when I was at the Roanoke Regional Chamber. But a lot of people don't realize that before she got there, there was a parade, if you will, of several different directors. And one of the first things Vicki said to me, because in that role, that time I was actually initially the legislative VP for the chamber and did all the advocacy kind of work. And there had been such a rotation of people, and she said, "I am stopping the revolving door." And she did. That was a wonderful thing for her to do. But in addition to being a creative soul, this beautiful picture on the book is actually her painting. So she's creative and a number of other things. But mostly, I am just pleased to be able to call her my friend and let you hear from her today. It's an amazing story, and you know how it ends because she is here with us today. Vicki?
I'm a little slow in getting up, but once I get going, there's no stopping me. Hold on. Okay. Well, I have been told that I have just a certain amount of time, and you guys have to hold me to that because I can chat on. But I just want to say good afternoon. Thank you so much for including me in on your club this afternoon. Can you let's get that? Okay. All right. Is that better? Fantastic. Well, it's good to be in a room with Kiwanis people and people who do an awful lot for their community. And that is you volunteer your time even when your time is just running out. You're my kind of people. For the last 17 years of my career, I have had the privilege of being the chamber executive for the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce. And like many of you, I wore a lot of hats, a lot of them on the exact same day. Life was always busy. And in 2015, everything changed. I'd like to read a passage from my book and to kind of bring you up to speed. You already know about it, I'm certain, but this passage, and I hope that it's not too much, but I think that it really says what this book is about. And this book is about survival. And as you go through the book, it talks about what happens because survival is just the beginning.
It's what happens afterwards. And so I'm going to go into this and so this is after the shooting. I have to say that my friend here, Jerry Hale, was also there that morning getting everything ready. He did the first two live on television interviews. And as we stirred around in a very joyous way, celebrating the 50th year anniversary of Smith Mountain Lake, and Jerry had to leave, and I stepped in. He said, "No, I can help," and I said, "No, Jerry, go home." And thank God, my friend Jerry is did that because he might not be here. Lying silent, motionless on the deck next to Adam's lifeless body, I sensed my imminent doom. I lay still, my jaw slack, even as my heart raced. My breaths were quick and shallow. The shooter hovered silently above me. I visualized him watching, thinking, and aiming. My rapid pounding heartbeat echoed in my ears. I feigned death for as long as for what felt like eternity, in a desperate attempt to prevent the shooter from firing again. It didn't work. Suddenly, he fired, and the bullet tore into my lower back like a hot metal rod. The sharp pain remains vivid in my memory, along with the lingering presence of bullet fragments embedded in my abdomen. When the bullet hit, I stayed completely still, not making any sound, not even a gasp. Keeping my composure after being shot took all my focus. I was afraid more shots would follow. I also worried that the bullet in my back could leave me paralyzed. With a renewed sense of resolve, I prioritized survival above all else. I fought hard to remain motionless, maintaining control of my trembling, wounded body was a monumental struggle. Killer took a step forward, now standing over my head. His breathing was audible. I felt the deck shift under his weight. There was no way for me to escape. Blood gushing from my shattered internal organs made disturbingly loud gurgling noises from my stomach. I hoped that they would go unheard by him. He would have known that I was still alive. It was an eerie quiet. There were no sounds, not even the birds singing. The air was warm and the early sunlight illuminated the scene. Knowing the killer was above me, ready to end my life, as he had done to Adam and Allison, I braced for a final shot. My heart was pounding and I struggled to keep my breath shallow and undetectable. I was terrified, but remained alert for any sound or sign of rescue. Pain in my awkwardly positioned arms and legs grew sharper as I lay still. Meanwhile, numbness had started to creep in. I wanted to catch a last glimpse of life and dared to open my right eye, which the killer could not see. Peering through the wooden slats of the railing, I saw the sun reflecting on the lake, and a deep sense of calm settled over me. Memories of my life played in my mind. I saw my parents' joyful faces as they watched me in full bridal regalia, walking toward the church altar where Tim stood waiting on our 40 on our yes on our wedding day 40 years earlier. A vision of our young girls played by the lake made me smile inwardly. I was amazed at how clearly I could see everything. I lost all sense of time. Then I heard a click. My last conscious thought was gratitude. Thank you, Lord. I've had a great life. Terror had taken its toll, and for the first time in my life, I lost consciousness. Disoriented by severe pain, I woke up still lying on the deck. My feigned death had worked. But how long had I been unconscious? Maybe seconds, maybe a minute or longer. I hadn't heard the shooter leave. Did he go away or was he waiting for more targets? My senses blurred from being shot and my near death experience. I knew Adam was lying next to me, and there was nothing that I could do for him. I also knew I had to remain absolutely still, not daring to move or even open my eyes because I didn't know where the killer was. I was overwhelmed by the horror, my mind struggling to make sense of it all. Why had this shooting happened? Was it intentional or random? If it was intentional, why did the shooter pick us? What was his plan? What was his motive? Did the click above my head indicate a jammed intended shot? When maybe there was no ammunition left in the gun. Maybe the shooter wasn't willing to take the time to reload. I tried to piece together the puzzle of what had just happened, but clouds formed in my mind. Nothing took shape except for puzzle pieces that that I could remember dissolving into nothingness. Through the intense silence, I sensed no movement. Still, in a state of dread, I remained silent. Seconds felt like minutes as I waited for something, anything, to end this nightmare. My stomach gurgled, and I recognized it as a sign of severe internal bleeding. I felt a strong, almost irresistible urge to let go and drift into sleep. Doing so would have been so easy and so welcoming. But I worried I might not wake up, and I wanted to stay aware of the killer's possible next steps. I forced myself to remain awake and alert. The silence stretched on, every part of my body ached, and the pain intensified with each second. I knew the bullet had entered my lower back, traveled through my abdomen, and lodged near my rib cage. I had a sense of the damage it had caused and was growing weak from the internal blood loss, fearing paralysis from the gunshot wound in my lower back. I moved my toes, which were safely tucked inside my shoes. The thoughts of escape vied with my fear of movement, while my mind raced with questions. My office and phone were just yards away, beyond a locked door. Did we leave the front door open? How could I reach it? I was trying to get there. While would trying to get there cause more internal damage? What if the shooter was right around the corner? Time stood still because it was so early. I thought it might be 2 hours before I was found, still in the survivor mode, knowing that internal blood loss could be fatal. I prayed, and my prayers kept me focused until I heard the sirens in the distance. It was something. After going through something like that, people ask me, how'd you get through it? I mean, good gracious, how did you make it through? Staying focused on something that you truly believe in is what saved me. It is nearly impossible, and I will tell you this is the truth. It's nearly impossible to focus on pain, no matter how bad it is, and something joyous. And I chose joyous. I chose amazing. For me, the project that started before the shooting, the Smith Mountain Lake Center, helped me stay focused on what others called Vicky's vision. At that time, the lake was about to celebrate its 50th anniversary. As Chamber's leader, my role was to promote community involvement. I aimed to help our businesses draw more visitors. It was hard without a dedicated building. There's no building at the lake. I was sending people to Roanoke rather than at the lake. And so that made it even that much more powerful for me. This project had been ongoing for 10 years without success. With the help of our chamber chairman at that time, Pastor Troy Keaton, we took on the challenge. We did the initial work. We formed a board of directors, and we set our sights on success. We were going to have a center at the lake. The first board meeting was on August 25th, 2015. The very next morning, I was shot and left for dead. I want to share a social media post with you that I found just actually a week ago, and I thought it fit in quite well. And this is from my daughter, Erin. She posted this up as people were kind of watching to see how I was doing, and it was called Vicky's Recovery Page. And you probably can't see it, but there's a picture of a dog there. That was Buddy. And so Erin is saying, if you're wondering about Vicky's progress today, you'll be pleased to know that she had a visitor this morning. We arrived at a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Vicky, ready to take on her once detested physical therapy with determination. Her daytime highlights included taking a bite of real food and a visit from her favorite guy in the world, Buddy. She says, Dad, it's true. He was my favorite guy. So Buddy came in. While Buddy was there, Vicky was amazed to see Troy Keaton, chairman of the chamber, on the news. He was sharing her vision, which he called Vicky's vision, on the potential of a community center at Smith Mountain Lake. The idea is to provide a large center for people in the region, a gathering place and resource from everything from children's classes to adult education to performances and town hall meetings. And Vicky's vision began long before this week's devastating news. She says here that that she wants this to be an incredible, positive milestone, a lasting outcome from the tragedy. Vicky would like to express her gratitude for the outpouring of compassion and support she has experienced from all of you. P.S. Mom was concerned about that people might be confused about the vision, so she asked me to explain as best I could. Sorry for the extra long post. But she knew, and that is what kept me going. That's what kept the pain out of my head as best. Of course, I did have some pills too, and they helped out an awful lot. But it's one of those things. Your life can change in a second, and it might be an automobile accident or a medical something, and it can happen to any one of us. For me, it was being shot my whole life. I was wakeboarding a week before the shooting and active in golf and all sorts of things. And of course, they're all they're gone now. But I am going to learn how to play chess. I'm telling you. So my book is not about trauma. It's about what comes after. It's rebuilding a life, finding a purpose. And oh, did I was so lucky to have that purpose and learning to move forward. In the middle of difficulty, we can still choose who we are. And that's what service is. It's resilience. Excuse me. I could just say this without even taking a look at this, but resilience isn't a big heroic moment. Sometimes it's just getting up and fighting another day. Survival's not a victory, it's the starting line. People tell me, you are so strong. You must be so strong. And I think, you ought to see me trying to put on my socks in the morning. I don't bend very well anymore. And leaning over to put on my socks, which is generally on the stairway, leaning forward to just put the sock over my toes for the beginning. I have to be really careful about not falling into a somersault. I'm serious. That does always cross my mind. But one thing that I learned, you don't go through hard times alone. It's people and people like you who show up and lift others when they need it the most. Life will always be a challenge, but it also brings, life has challenges, but it also has opportunities, lots of opportunities to lead and serve and care for one another because that's what life is all about, is taking care of each other. And I had so much care, so much love, more hugs than you could ever imagine in your entire life. And I loved them because I'm a hugger. So we don't always get a chance to choose what happens next, but we always get to choose what happens next. If you're still here, your story is not finished. Mine is not finished, certainly. So whatever you're facing, you have more strength than you'll ever realize. And I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity to share a bit of my story with you. And I just want to let you know that that if anybody would care to have a book, we have them here and we will be selling them and I'll sign them for you and everything. But I'd like to open it up if we have time. Okay. For questions. Come on. Oh, yes. Yes. I'll repeat it. Do you have PTSD? And yes, that is something. It's woven through the book. in a family way. My dad, who was on Omaha Beach, he had PTSD. We didn't know what that was. We just thought he just blew up on occasion. And so I relate that in my book to my family and a clear understanding of what that is. And I am not overly challenged by it. It just happens. So, yes. You know, it made me even more determined to get together with people. And as I say, they were all there for me. We had what we called a day of remembrance, and this was organized by the people at Bridgewater Plaza. And I don't know how many people have been there. Bridgewater Plaza at the lake. Okay, so you pretty much know what I'm talking about. But they planned this. I was just out of the hospital. It was exactly 1 month after the shooting, and I was just hell bent and determined that I was going to go to this. And Tim was saying, "You can't do it," and I said, "Watch me." And so so I ended up going, and these people were they were lined up all around the plaza. It actually formed a heart shape. And there was boats that were all hooked up and they held hands and they were all wearing the Smith Mountain Lake, strong t-shirt. And all the contributions went to Adam and Allison's cause and to the center. And so that right there gave me an opportunity to get up. When I was approaching this event, it was my first time back at the center where I'd been shot. And I was a little apprehensive, but when I saw all those people, it was like, I need to be here. And that just opened it up. I hope that answered your question. There's so many different ways, but that took away all my fear of telling the story because you know what? Nobody ever talks about the survivor. We hear these horrible things and our heart goes out to these people and then it's over. But what happens to the survivors? Mine is not, mine is probably completely different from other people, but it takes a lot. And, as you read through this book, you'll understand, all of the legal issues and I have some workman compensation stories that will just drain the blood from your body and plenty of other things. So um, it's going back to family, it just all ties together. I have this little golden thread that goes through a lot of different things that says, now I get it. Now I understand. So, other questions? Yes. Oh, thank you. That is very kind. Okay. Yes. Yes. And the question was, is there anything that you would change? You can't change what happened that day, but is there anything in my life and going through all of this that I would change? I I hadn't really actually thought about that. You just kind of push on through. There's a lot of things that I would like to address, but at the time when you're going through these things, I would really love to address workman's comp. I would really like to address the legal system because we did challenge the legal system. And when you read that part, you won't even believe how crazy it was. But I don't know what I would have done any different than what I did. It was just getting through, pushing, 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 and all these people lifting me up. And I learned so many lessons from that that it's hard to say. Yes, sir. Okay. Mhm.
There's probably no single thing that said, but I'm just wondering, do you have any advice from a founder or somebody that had that learning experience?
Mhm.
How can we own them? How can we show our kindness and our concern about them?
I think a hug is always the very first thing that you can do because that is very personal. That overrides any words. But yes, you can. People don't mind talking about, let's just say that you lose a loved one, and everybody is just kind of avoiding that topic. Uh, if you have a question on your mind, if you have a thought you want to share, do it because they are living it. They're not trying to ignore it. And but there is that awkward feeling sometimes. And um, I'm well, there was something else that I was going to say, but it comes and it goes at this age.
Do we have one more question?
Okay, one more question.
Yeah. I can't hear.
Yeah, can't hear you. Hmm. 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 And I don't know whether you heard what she said, but she was a friend of Allison's family. And that was absolutely just the saddest thing. And I'll share one more thing that infuriated me. How do you deal with it as a family? But how do you, just how do you make people better as a result of your experience? But I'm going to say that there is a dark side out there that just made me so angry, and I didn't even see a lot of it. I had conspiracy theorists that contacted me. My daughter Erin wiped out lots and lots of them. We did save some and just set them aside. I've never looked back at them, but saying, dare you? How dare you trick the people like that? How can you pull a stunt like this? We hear that you are off on some island. We hear that if you this really happened to you, then get some pictures of your wounds and post them. Oh, this was every day for almost a year of people that had nothing else to do. I think about Adam and Allison's parents burying their child, and somebody is saying it's a hoax. Oh, come on. We can do a whole lot better than that. And I did my very best to politely blast them in this book. So that's another part of it. But I know that we are out of time now, right?
Right.
Perfect. I did it. Ah, anyways, thank you. Thank you so much. This is a pleasure. Okay. I will
Stay here for a minute.
Okay.
No surprise, but Vicki has asked for her honorarium to go to Smith Mountain Lake Center. So there, we're gonna.
Thank you.
A picture here. Oh, got it. All right, thank you.
I do. Okay.
This
Thank
was-
you ever so
Is
much.
that yours?
This is mine.
Okay.
All right. Well, I believe we covered.
Oh, she will be out from the North X there with her books. And if you would like to buy one, she's selling them. If you'd like to speak to her, she's willing to talk as well. Thank you, Vicki.
Joyce?
Yes.
Jeff Vick, like it's asked.
Yes, Jeff?
Last minute visit.
We have a last minute visitor that Jeff would like to introduce.
Thank you, Joyce. Those of you who've been coming to the meetings for the last couple of months are aware that we started a CKI chapter at Roanoke College. We are now officially chartered, and I want to introduce our newly elected president, Stephanie Barco. She's sitting right over here. So go ahead and stand up, Stephanie. She'll be around for briefly after the meeting if you'd like to talk to her, but we'll be seeing them at KPAD, right? We'll be seeing those students helping us with that pancake breakfast. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Next week, our program is going to be on Blue Ridge hydroponic growing things in water. That's what I understand. So I'm sure you want to know this. Hey, do you know about this, Fred? Okay. David Perry will be introducing that guest. So go enjoy your week, and we will meet again next week. Okay. Oh, we have a meeting.